Drivers are required to obey instructions from A. Security guards patrolling parking lots. B. Other drivers whose vehicles are broken down on the roadway. C. Flaggers, signal persons, at construction sites. C. Flaggers, signal persons, at construction sites. Drivers must obey special signs or instructions given by flaggers. They are in place to keep drivers and workers safe. Which of these statements is true about roadwork zones? A. Fines are the same for violations committed in work zones as they are under normal traffic conditions. B. You must slow for the cone zone. C. Slow down only if you think workers are present. B. You must slow for the cone zone. Reduce your speed and be prepared to slow down or stop for highway equipment. Driving carefully through work zones improves safety for drivers, pedestrians, bicyclists, and road workers. You are approaching an intersection at the posted speed limit when the signal turns yellow. You should A. Slow down and proceed through the intersection without caution. B. Speed up to cross the intersection before the light turns red. C. Stop before entering the intersection, if you can do so safely. C. Stop before entering the intersection, if you can do so safely. A solid yellow light means caution, and signals that the light will soon turn red. You should stop at a solid yellow light if you can do so safely, otherwise, you should cautiously cross the intersection. When passing a row of parked vehicles, you should A. Be prepared for a person or vehicle to unexpectedly enter your lane. B. Expect all other drivers and pedestrians to respect your right-of-way. C. Drive closely to the parked vehicles to allow more room for moving traffic. A. Be prepared for a person or vehicle to unexpectedly enter your lane. Keep a space between your vehicle and parked vehicles. A person may step out of a parked vehicle or out from between the parked vehicles without looking. A driver may begin moving their vehicle before realizing you are there.
Want to ace your DMV test? Click on the link below and get your guaranteed cheat sheet.
To help others see you when daylight begins to fade, you should use your A. Parking lights. B. Low beam headlights. C. Emergency flashers. B. Low beam headlights. As daylight begins to fade, turn on your low beams to help others see you. Only use your high beam headlights in an open area where no other drivers are present. This road sign means A. Drive with caution and be ready to stop. B. You must come to a complete stop. C. Stop, if necessary. B. You must come to a complete stop. The stop sign is the only 8-sided sign you will see on any roadway. When you encounter a stop sign, you must come to a complete stop. You may not proceed until the way is clear for you to completely and safely pass through the intersection. This road sign means A. Steep grade ahead. B. The road ahead winds with a series of turns or curves. C. Slippery when wet. C. Slippery when wet. Warning signs provide notice to road users of a situation that might not be readily apparent and are usually yellow with black markings. This sign warns drivers to be careful when driving under wet conditions as the pavement will become slippery and more difficult to navigate safely. A driver entering interstate traffic from an entrance or acceleration ramp. A. Has the right of way. B. Should yield to drivers already on the interstate. C. May force their way into traffic. B. Should yield to drivers already on the interstate. If you are entering interstate traffic from an entrance or acceleration ramp, yield to drivers already on the interstate. Merge safely into traffic when you are able to do so. Which of the following blocks the smooth flow of traffic? A. Slowing down to look at collision scene. B. Avoiding unnecessary lane changes. C. Using public transportation instead of your vehicle. A. Slowing down to look at collision scene. Rubbernecking, the practice of slowing down to look at collisions or other out-of-the-ordinary things, contributes to traffic congestion and should be avoided. If you come to an intersection controlled by a flashing yellow light, you must A. Wait for the green light before proceeding. B. Slow down and cross the intersection carefully. C. Stop before crossing the intersection. B. Slow down and cross the intersection carefully. A flashing yellow traffic light means drivers must slow down, be more aware, and proceed with caution. Be alert to crossing traffic and pedestrians. From top to bottom, the following is the proper order for traffic lights. A. Red, yellow, green. B. Red, green, yellow. C. Green, red, yellow. A. Red, yellow, green. Warning signs are usually yellow with black markings. They alert you to conditions that are immediately ahead. This sign warns drivers about the presence of traffic signals at an intersection ahead. When double solid yellow lines separate lanes of traffic. A. Passing is permitted from the left. B. Passing is permitted from the right. C. Passing is not permitted from either direction. C. Passing is not permitted from either direction. Yellow lines separating lanes of traffic indicate that traffic is moving in opposite directions. Double solid lines indicate that passing is not permitted from either direction. This road sign means A. You must travel through the intersection at the posted speed limit. B. The maximum speed limit under ideal conditions is 55 miles per hour. C. You must not travel below the speed indicated. B. The maximum speed limit under ideal conditions is 55 miles per hour. Regulatory signs provide notice to road users of traffic laws that must be obeyed. This particular sign tells you the maximum speed limit for the stretch of highway where it is posted. You may drive more slowly than the posted speed limit, based on road conditions, but it is illegal to drive any faster than the posted speed limit. What does this road sign mean? A. Falling rocks. B. Trucks use second gear. C. Steep hill. C. Steep hill. Warning signs are usually yellow with black markings. This sign indicates that you are approaching a steep hill. Slow down and be ready to shift to a lower gear to control your speed and protect your brakes from damage. The best thing to do if you become tired while driving is to A. Stop to rest or change drivers. B. Drink coffee. C. Open a window. A. Stop to rest or change drivers. If you become tired while driving, it is best to stop to rest or change drivers. Being tired dulls your mind and slows down your reactions, making driving hazardous. Give the right of way to any pedestrian who is A. in a marked crosswalk. B. in any crosswalk or intersection. C. crossing any street. C. crossing any street. Drivers must yield the right of way to pedestrians who are crossing the street in any marked or unmarked crosswalk. In the interest of safety, drivers should yield the right of way to people crossing any street. Reaction time is slower after A. drinking alcohol. B. sleeping. C. working hard. A. drinking alcohol. Alcohol slows your reflexes and reaction time, reduces your ability to see clearly, and makes you less alert. As the amount of alcohol in your body increases, your judgment worsens and your driving skills decrease. You will have trouble judging distances, speeds, and the movement of other vehicles. When driving in fog, you should A. use your high beam headlights. B. use your parking lights. C. use your low beam headlights. C. use your low beam headlights. Drivers should use low beam headlights when driving in fog. High beams will reflect back at the driver, making it difficult to see. You have stopped for a train at a railroad crossing. After the train passes, you should A. wait for signal lights to stop flashing. B. look for a second train. C. both of the above. C. both of the above. Even after a train passes, watch out for a second train approaching on any track. Do not proceed until all gates have been lifted and all warning signals have stopped flashing. This sign indicates that A. there is a steep hill ahead. B. no trucks are allowed on the upcoming hill. C. a logging road is ahead. A. there is a steep hill ahead. Warning signs are usually yellow with black markings. This sign warns drivers about an upcoming steep hill. Drivers should slow down and be ready to control their speed and protect their brakes from damage. Using a cell phone while operating a motor vehicle is considered a distraction because A. it causes the driver to be concerned about the cost of the call. B. it occupies the driver's hands, eyes, and mind. C. it is an activity that draws the attention of other drivers. B. it occupies the driver's hands, eyes, and mind. Using a cell phone while driving is dangerous because it occupies the user's eyes, hands, and mind. Even the most skilled drivers increase their risk of being involved in a crash by using a cell phone on the road. Drivers turning left must yield to A. overtaking cars. B. oncoming cars. C. no one. B. oncoming cars. Drivers turning left must yield to oncoming vehicles that are driving straight ahead. A turning driver may only proceed when they can safely turn without affecting oncoming traffic. You may be able to identify an aggressive driver by A. Their erratic and improper lane changes. B. The number of passengers in their car. C. Their tendency to drive slowly. A. Their erratic and improper lane changes. While driving, you should remain aware of the actions of surrounding drivers. If you notice an aggressive driver nearby making erratic or improper lane changes, you should not challenge them. The safest way to handle an aggressive driver is to get out of their way. Which of the following driving skills are affected by the use of alcohol and/or drugs? A. Alertness and concentration. B. Reaction time and coordination. C. All of the above. C. All of the above. Any amount of alcohol acts as a depressant, slowing the function of the nervous system. It will reduce a person's alertness and ability to concentrate, increase their reaction time, and drastically reduce their coordination. A broken yellow centerline means that A. Passing is not permitted. B. Passing on the right is permitted when the way ahead is clear. C. Passing on the left is permitted when the way ahead is clear. C. Passing on the left is permitted when the way ahead is clear. A broken yellow centerline means that a driver may cross the centerline to pass another vehicle on the left as long as there is no oncoming traffic. Drivers should never cross a solid yellow centerline in order to pass. If you are driving near a large commercial vehicle, you should A. Follow the large vehicle closely to reduce wind drag on your vehicle. B. Avoid driving beside it for long stretches of time. C. Drive on its right side when on curves and hills. B. Avoid driving beside it for long stretches of time. Because large commercial vehicles have large blind spots on each side, you should avoid driving beside them for long periods of time. You are driving on the freeway behind a large truck. You should drive A. Closer behind the truck than you would if following a passenger vehicle. B. Farther behind the truck than you would if following a passenger vehicle. C. To the right side of the truck and wait to pass. B. Farther behind the truck than you would if following a passenger vehicle. It is necessary to follow farther behind a large truck than you would if following a passenger vehicle because trucks have larger blind spots. When driving in fog, you should A. Slow down and use your low beam headlights. B. Slow down and use your high beam headlights. C. Turn your lights on and off to warn other drivers. A. Slow down and use your low beam headlights. When driving in fog, you should slow down and use your low beam headlights. If the fog is so bad that you cannot see, pull off the road and wait for the fog to clear. When used on roadways, bicycles are considered A. Hazards. B. Vehicles. C. Dangerous. B. Vehicles. Bicycles are considered vehicles when used on roadways. Bicyclists and motorists are expected to follow the same rules of the road. You are required to stop your vehicle. A. At any intersection where a police officer orders you to stop. B. Where there is a red traffic light. C. Both of the above. C. Both of the above. You must come to a complete stop at a steady or flashing red traffic light. You must always obey instructions given by officers directing traffic, regardless of any posted signs or traffic signals. When taking any medicine, you should A. Consult your doctor about the effects before driving. B. Have someone follow you home. C. Keep your window open and drive more slowly. A. Consult your doctor about the effects before driving. Legal medications, both prescription and over-the-counter, can potentially impair your ability to drive. Always consult with your doctor or pharmacist if you have questions about how a particular drug or drug combination will affect your ability to drive. You should particularly make a point of talking with your doctor if they give you a prescription for a tranquilizer or sedative. This sign means A. 4-lane traffic ahead. B. Divided highway ahead. C. 2-way traffic ahead. C. 2-way traffic ahead. Warning signs are usually yellow with black markings. They alert you to conditions that are immediately ahead. This sign warns that you are leaving a separated one-way highway and will soon be driving on a two-way highway. You should increase the distance between your vehicle and the vehicle ahead when you A. Are following a small passenger vehicle. B. Are being tailgated by another driver. C. Are driving more slowly than the posted speed limit. B. Are being tailgated by another driver. When being tailgated, create extra space in front of your vehicle and do not brake suddenly. Slow down gradually or merge into another lane to prevent a collision with the tailgater. When entering the interstate, check for a gap in traffic in the nearest lane, adjust your speed to match traffic, signal, and A. Expect traffic to allow you to proceed into the lane, since you have the right of way. B. Merge carefully into the gap. C. Wait for the lane to clear before merging. B. Merge carefully into the gap. Before merging into interstate traffic, you should identify a gap, accelerate to the speed of traffic, and signal. Merge into the gap when it is safe to do so. Be alert to other traffic and do not expect other drivers to clear the lane. When merging onto the freeway, you should be driving A. At or near the speed of the freeway traffic. B. At the legal speed limit. C. More slowly than the freeway traffic. A. At or near the speed of the freeway traffic. You should enter a freeway at or near the speed of traffic, unless the speed of traffic exceeds the legal speed limit. You want to turn left at an upcoming corner. Yield the right of way to A. Oncoming vehicles also turning left. B. All approaching vehicles. C. Pedestrians on the sidewalk waiting for a walk signal. B. All approaching vehicles. When making a left turn, you must yield to pedestrians, bicyclists, or other vehicles moving on their green light. Before you enter an intersection, you should look to your A. Left, your right, then your left again. B. Right. C. Left. A. Left, your right, then your left again. Before you enter an intersection, look to both the left and right for approaching vehicles or crossing pedestrians. Look to your left a second time, as vehicle approaching from your left will be closer than those approaching from your right. Look across the intersection before you start to move to make sure the path is clear all the way through. When passing another vehicle, you should return to your original lane when A. You can see both headlights of the passed vehicle in your rearview mirror. B. You have cleared the front bumper of the passed vehicle. C. You are 50 feet in front of the passed vehicle. A. You can see both headlights of the passed vehicle in your rearview mirror. When passing another vehicle, move back into your original lane only when you can see the passed vehicle's headlights in your rearview mirror. This ensures that you will have enough room to safely pull back in front of the other vehicle. Should you always drive more slowly than other traffic? A. No, you can block traffic when you drive too slowly. B. Yes, it is a good defensive driving technique. C. Yes, it is always safer than driving faster than other traffic. A. No, you can block traffic when you drive too slowly. You must drive more slowly than usual when there is heavy traffic or bad weather. However, if you block the normal and reasonable movement of traffic by driving too slowly, you may be cited. This road sign means A. Highway entrance ramp. B. Road widens. C. Right lane ends. C. Right lane ends. Warning signs provide notice to road users of a situation that might not be readily apparent and are usually yellow with black markings. This sign alerts drivers to the right lane ending and tells them to prepare for potential merging traffic. When you see an emergency vehicle approaching while using its flashing lights, you must A. Maintain your speed and stay in your lane until the vehicle has passed. B. Move into the right lane and drive slowly until the vehicle has passed. C. Pull over to the curb or edge of the road and stop until the vehicle has passed. C. Pull over to the curb or edge of the road and stop until the vehicle has passed. If you see an emergency vehicle approaching while using its flashing lights, pull over to the right edge of the road and stop. Position yourself parallel to the curb. On one-way streets, drive toward the road edge nearest you. If you can see that the roadway up ahead is covered by heavy smoke, you should A. Turn on your four-way flashers and continue. B. Reduce your speed, move as far to the right as possible, and stop off the roadway. C. Turn on your high-beam headlights and continue. B. Reduce your speed, move as far to the right as possible, and stop off the roadway. If you notice that the road ahead is covered by heavy smoke, reduce your speed immediately, drive as far as possible to the right, and stop off the roadway. Only then should you determine if it is safe for you to continue. Remember that certain kinds of smoke can irritate your eyes and lungs or even kill you. This road sign means A. Sharp right turn ahead. B. A road joins from the right. C. The road ahead turns sharply right then sharply left. C. The road ahead turns sharply right then sharply left. Warning signs are usually yellow with black markings. This sign indicates that the road ahead will turn sharply to the right and then sharply to the left. Temporary signs used in construction and maintenance work areas. A. Have a red background with green writing. B. Have an orange background with black writing. C. Have a yellow background with blue writing. B. Have an orange background with black writing. All temporary signs in work zones have orange backgrounds with black writing and/or symbols. You should not use your horn. A. When visibility ahead is limited. B. If you might hit another vehicle. C. Near blind pedestrians. C. Near blind pedestrians. When driving near a blind pedestrian, using your horn may be dangerous. Yield to the pedestrian and proceed when it is safe to do so. When approaching a railroad crossing controlled by flashing red lights, you should A. Be ready to drive faster than the approaching train. B. Come to a complete stop. C. Look for a way around any lowered gates. B. Come to a complete stop. Railroad crossing signs are used to warn drivers about the possibility of an approaching train. Drivers must obey all railroad crossing warning signs and lights and should never try to drive around barriers. This sign means you are approaching a railroad crossing that does not have a signal. You should A. Come to a complete stop. B. Proceed at a consistent speed while looking and listening for approaching trains. C. Slow down, look both ways, listen for any trains, and be prepared to stop if any trains are nearby. C. Slow down, look both ways, listen for any trains, and be prepared to stop if any trains are nearby. At a railroad crossing marked with this sign, a driver should look both ways, listen for any trains, and be prepared to stop if any trains are nearby. Never try to outdrive an oncoming train. When driving on an interstate, to avoid traffic merging from on-ramps to your right, the best thing to do is to A. Change lanes to the left. B. Slow down. C. Maintain your speed and position. A. Change lanes to the left. When driving on an interstate highway, be aware of upcoming on-ramps. When traffic permits, move out of the right-hand lane to allow vehicles to enter from the on-ramps to your right. If you park facing uphill where there is no curb, set the parking brake and A. Turn your wheels toward the edge of the road. B. Turn your wheels away from the edge of the road. C. Keep your wheels facing straight. A. Turn your wheels toward the edge of the road. When parking uphill on a road that does not have a curb, your front wheels should be turned to the right, toward the edge of the road. This will ensure that the vehicle will roll off of the road if the brakes fail. If you have a sudden tire blowout, A. Use the brakes lightly. B. Pump the brakes. C. Apply the brakes firmly. A. Use the brakes lightly. If a tire suddenly goes flat while you are driving, hold the steering wheel tightly and keep the vehicle moving straight. Slow down gradually by taking your foot off the gas pedal and using the brakes lightly.